This video is brought to you by StoneAgeGamer.com, a fantastic site for retro games, systems, accessories, and more. Be sure to check out StoneAgeGamer.com. Skip it up and that up. What's going on, folks? Rich of Review Tech USA, and you thought I wasn't going to talk about Nintendo, didn't you? You thought I forgot, didn't you? Well, I didn't, and I'm going to get into it now. I got my notes organized before I started this video. So let's get into it. Their E3 conference was today, and it was pretty interesting. So I have my notes here. You're going to see me look up and down, like I said with my other videos, for copyright reasons, especially with Nintendo. I'm not going to include gameplay footage. I know it sucks, but it is what it is. Even as a managed partner, in my opinion, it's way too risky to put Nintendo footage from the E3 conference in my video. Don't want to strike on my account. So anyway, the first thing they talked about, they had the whole intro. Actually, let me talk about this. I wasn't going to. They had an amazing intro where they had Reggie Fils-Aimé. They kind of had him as like an animated character, and they were kind of like making fun of themselves. How, hey, oh, you're gonna, and they have like people in the audience saying, oh, you're just gonna introduce a new Super Mario Brothers game, and it was pretty funny. It was like Nintendo held up a mirror to themselves, and they were joking around, and it was nice and fun to see them do that. Kind of shows they have a down-to-earth attitude, you know, and they aren't just up in their ivory towers not paying attention to what's going on. So that to me was pretty cool. Then they had this whole fight scene between Reggie and Satoru Iwata, which was kind of a way to segue into the whole amiibo thing, which I'll talk about a little bit later. But it was a cool, honestly, in my opinion, it was the best intro out of all three, big three E3 press conferences compared to Microsoft and Sony. So that was pretty cool. But they started to talk about, the first big thing they talked about was Super Smash Brothers and how they're going to have Mii's in the Super Smash Brothers. So basically people have been asking for a while, so if they could put their Mii's in Smash Brothers, and they're listening to it and they're actually going to do it. There's going to be 3 categories of Mii fighters in the new Super Smash Brothers. There's going to be brawlers, sword fighters, and gunners. Kind of the name pretty much explains what they're going to be. And you could choose from 4 special moves from 12 options. So you have like 36 special moves you could make for your characters. I was watching Jay Hoof, the 3 kilobytes video on Nintendo's E3 press conference, and I agree with him. The only thing I'm afraid of is, are they going to be able to maintain balance with this? Say there's like this perfect combo of moves that you could pick for your Mii fighter in the new Super Smash Brothers coming out for the Wii U, and it's just too overpowered. Hopefully they'll balance it out, but if they don't, if you pick this set of moves, it could really suck, especially if you're fighting other people online. Nintendo, I'm sure they'll iron that out, and the Mii characters will be balanced, but if they aren't, that would kind of suck. But I do like it, though. I think it's cool. It would be nice to see if they actually did something like where you could take a picture of yourself and you could put your face on your Mii character. I think that would be an extra step in the right direction. So it would be really customized. That would be pretty cool, but you know it would and then I thought about it, though, as I was thinking that in my head. You know what would happen? Some guy would take a picture of his schlong. Some guy would take a picture of his junk, and there you'd be fighting a penis in Smash Brothers. So that's probably why they don't want to do it, because people are assholes. So yeah, the funniest thing though is that they said like, oh, a lot of people ask for us to put celebrity characters in Smash Brothers. So they show Mii's of Elijah Wood and Ice-T. Yeah. It was just so random. It's like Elijah Wood and Ice-T, like out of all the celebrities, not that they're not bad celebrities. I mean, I love Ice-T, and Elijah Wood's a good actor, but just so random. But anyway, the 3DS version's coming out on October 3rd. They showed some gameplay footage of that. I have an itchy nose tonight, I don't know why. And holiday for the Wii U version. So there you go. Amiibos, they really push this whole Amiibos thing. I just wrote Amiibos down. Basically what it's going to be is there's going to be little characters like this that look like Mario, Princess Peach, so on and so forth. They're going to have like an NFC chip in them, kind of like what they do with Skylanders. You put the Amiibo character on the Wii U gamepad, and it transfers data. That character shows up in compatible games. They're basically doing what Skylanders was doing. So That's all it is. They're really going to push it. I'm sure the kids are going to love it. It's probably going to be printing money for Nintendo. I'm not that interested in it. I'm a 32-year-old dude, so that's probably why. But I'm sure it'll do good for them. I don't really care, but the reason I'm even talking about it is because they pushed the living shit out of it in their E3 press conference. Yoshi's Woolly World. They kept on saying they weren't making a sequel to Kirby's Epic Yarn. It sure as shit looks like it. It looks like a charming kids game. The visuals are really nice, like because you have the high def capabilities of the Wii U, the wool effect on Yoshi. He really looks like a hand stitched character. It looks nice. You know, it's, again, I know the audience. They're going for a younger audience with that. Not my cup of tea. It'll probably be a fun game, but I'm sure for someone my age it would probably be too easy, unless they make a harder mode for it. That's one thing, man. Okay, you want to make a cute, charming game like this, fine. But Nintendo, even your kid, quote-unquote kiddie games, they're still fun to play. So you should make a harder mode for a game like that with adults. Because I know a lot of people with Kirby's Epic Yarn, they said when adults played it, they said it was fun, but it was too easy. So if you're going to make a Yoshi's Woolly World, that's exactly what it's called, make a harder mode so adults can get into it too. Don't make it as easy as you did with Kirby's Epic Yarn. The next game they have was Captain Toad Treasure Tracker. I don't know if it's going to be a full game or a downloadable game, but it's like the same mode from Super Mario 3D World. Couldn't think of it for a second. Where you played Yoshi for a little bit. I guess they're making a full fleshed out game with that. Okay, not a bad thing. It was pretty fun, those little mini games they had in Super Mario 3D World. Legend of Zelda. They had the developer speak. It was pretty awesome. And all of a sudden he snaps his fingers and there's gameplay. I wish I could show you the damn gameplay in this. It looked gorgeous. It looked like a better looking version of Skyrim. It was really visually impressive. Some people said it wasn't what they were looking for. I think it looked great. I thought it was, it was a little like artistic. It wasn't super realistic. I think maybe people were looking for that, but it was realistic enough that they didn't go with like other Zelda games where it was like super cartoony. It looked like a painting. It looked absolutely phenomenal. Then they showed some gameplay where an enemy comes after Link when he's on maybe Epona, I think the horse, and I was impressed. Color me impressed. It looked fantastic. And if the whole game is at that caliber and they actually achieve that level of visual detail on the retail version of the newest Zelda that's coming out for the Wii U, I don't think anyone's going to be disappointed. They said it's going to be more open world than other Zeldas too, so it's going to be, it almost sounds like they were hinting it's going to be like a mixture of Zelda and Skyrim, which I don't think that would be a very bad thing. So awesome stuff. Pokemon Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire are coming out for the 3DS on November 21st, 2014. Okay. I know it's going to print money for Nintendo, that it just insert shit tons of money Nintendo's going to make off them. Even as a kid, I was never into Pokemon, but hey, I know a lot of people that love it, and I know it's going to sell and fly off the shelves. So I'm sure that was a really big announcement for them, and I'm sure their investors probably had huge boners when they announced it. This is cool, and they listened. They fucking listened. Bayonetta 2. Okay. I wish this game would come out a little earlier. It's coming out October 2014. The gameplay looked great, but here's the thing. They listened. They're including the original Bayonetta that came out for the 360 and PS3. So you're getting, they said it's a set. You're getting Bayonetta and Bayonetta 2. It's coming out, like I said, October 2014, so you get both games. So if you never played the original Bayonetta, now you'll be able to. So, huge win. Smart move on Nintendo. They listened. That's great. This game. Hyrule Warriors. It's just Dynasty. I don't know why people are so excited for this. It's just Dynasty Warriors. Are you going to like Hyrule Warriors? Did you like other Dynasty Warriors games? No. Then you're not going to like Hyrule Warriors because it's just literally another Dynasty Warriors game with a Link skin. It's that simple. I don't understand. People are like, oh, this game looks amazing. I can't wait to play it. It's going to be a new Zelda game. It's not a new Zelda game. It's just Dynasty Warriors with a Legend of Zelda skin on it. I mean, I'm not really a big fan of that series. There was one game I played that it was alright, but most of the Dynasty Warriors games are repetitive hack and slash games that bore the shit out of me. So if you feel like that way like I do about the Dynasty Warriors games, you're not going to like Hyrule Warriors. Stop hyping this up just because it has Link in it. That's all it is. Anyway, I know I'm going to get flack for that, but just stop. Everyone's like freaking out over that game, and all it is a Dynasty Warriors game. Kirby and the Rainbow Curse. If I was 6, maybe I would have a boner. Yeah, that game just, it looks very, very, very... doesn't even look like... I mean, I like Kirby games, and that one just didn't look like it appealed to me too much. Xenoblade Chronicles by Monolith Software. That one looks badass, man. The gameplay they showed in the trailer they showed looks pretty cool. I think it's Xenoblade Chronicles X, excuse me. That's coming out in 2015. Oh yeah, and Kirby the Rainbow Curse is coming out in 2015 as well. I think I forgot to mention that before. Now, this one's actually pretty interesting. Mario Maker. It's a level editor that lets you make your own 2D Mario games and put all the different enemies and pipes and stuff in. How good it will be, it depends on how detailed it is. If it's a simplistic downloadable title that you could just put, turtles and Koopa Troopas and pipes in just random places, and it's not that, not that fleshed out, it's going to be a 30-minute distraction. If they really put something into it where you could kind of trade levels on the internet and stuff like that and really make really detailed levels, kind of like a Little Big Planet-esque version of Super Mario Brothers, that would be pretty cool. So we'll see. That's coming out in 2015. It looked decent. It looked like people have been asking for that for a while, and they're finally giving it to you. How good it's implemented, we'll have to wait and see. I know they switch back and forth between the new Super Mario Brothers look and the original NES Mario Brothers, so that was kind of cool too. So you could kind of do the level editor for a newer Mario game or the original, so that was nice. This other game, Splatoon, it's a Nintendo-style third-person shooter where you could switch between a squid and a human, and you shoot ink on the ground, and your color ink, you could swim through it and move fast. Your enemy shoots their different colored ink, it kind of slows you down. It looked like it'd be a lot of fun, and it looked like it could almost be too chaotic. If you watch the gameplay footage, which I wish I could goddamn include in this video, it looked almost like it got too frenzied and too confusing. I mean, maybe they're going to iron it out and it'll be much better when the game actually comes out. It looks like it's multiplayer only, so this one may be DLC too. It's coming out in 2015. But it just looked like it looked like it could be messy. And I'm not saying that because there's ink splattering all over the place, that there wasn't a pun. It looked like it could just be like there's too much going on, it could get confusing. So we'll see how it is. Doesn't look like a bad game, doesn't look like something great. See, this is... hold on. I'll hold that thought until the end. But it looks like an okay game. So, what did I think of Nintendo's conference as a whole? Well, I gotta give them credit. I would say they won simply for the fact that they had the most exclusive content. A lot of the games we saw from Sony and Microsoft, they're gonna be for both damn consoles. So it's like, and for the PC. So it's like, okay, you're showing third-party games that developers are making. What are you bringing to the table? And they showed a couple things, but Nintendo, all the games I mentioned here, minus the original Bayonetta, am I right about that? Yeah, minus the original Bayonetta, you can only get on a Nintendo platform. So you got to give them credit for that. But this is where Nintendo, as much as I applaud them for really bringing content you can't get anywhere else, it makes me want to... if you brought in the third-party stuff and had this, Nintendo, you would wipe the floor with the whole industry. This is why you frustrate me. I'm happy to see that you bring a lot of original content, but think about it this way. I know people are going to disagree with me and cry about this and make 30-minute videos saying they hate me. Imagine if they showed all this, not taking anything away. I don't want one single thing here pulled out of this E3 conference. I don't want to see any of these games go away. And then they show that Mortal Kombat X was coming. Imagine that would be perfect. You imagine you had that or those horror games. I can't think of them off the top of my head. Besides Mortal Kombat X, other big third-party titles, let's say if you combine what Nintendo offered here and not take anything away, and combine those third-party games, like the new Batman game that's coming out, and say that's coming out for Nintendo too, so you could get everything on your Nintendo platform, games for kids and games for adults, okay, and combine that all together into one E3 presentation and say, hey, Nintendo is your console for truly for everybody. It would be a wrap. It would be over. You know that the next big Zelda's coming, which once you see the footage is beautiful, and you know on top of it you could get the newest Batman game and you could get Mortal Kombat 10 or Mortal Kombat X. It would be over. Nintendo, please wake up and do what you got to do to get the third parties on board again, because you would just dominate the industry again. It would be a wrap. You would wipe the floor with Sony and Microsoft. So I think it was a good conference, and I gotta say, and I'm hesitant to say this because I know it's going to flip people out, I think they had the best presentation out of all three. I think Nintendo won E3 because they brought the most. I may not be interested in all the games, I'll be real with you, like I'm not interested in Yoshi's Woolly World, to be quite blunt, but they brought the most original content that you can't get anywhere else, and for that, Nintendo won E3. Alright folks, this is Rich of Review Tech USA. Make sure to rate, comment, favorite, and subscribe, and as always, thank you for supporting my channel. Have a good one.